Welcome to the Zoe Routh Leadership Podcast, where we share all things people stuff in leadership. Learn from leaders who have done the hard yards and learn from experience. Hear from expert authors about the latest insights from culture to strategy and messy people dynamics. Get tips and insights from multiple award-winning author and leadership expert herself, Zoe Routh. Now, on with the show.
Hey, it's Zoe. Every once in a while, I come across a CEO, a leader who is humble and determined and focused. And it's refreshing. And I'm so excited to bring this interview today. This leader is from Armenia. His name is Tigran Nazaryan. He is the co-founder and CEO at 10web.io. And what I love about his journey is that he started off with a PhD in extragalactic astronomy. This sort of caught my eye when I saw his bio. I'm like, wow, that's cool. What is that? It sounds very sci-fi. So he started off there, and then he's ended up building and creating with other colleagues this amazing business that is growing exponentially using artificial intelligence and web design. Sounds cool, right? This is the future. And in the meantime, this is a CEO who has learned how to change his sense of identity and change his leadership practices. So he shares all the ins and outs and the nitty-gritty with us in this fabulous interview. Okay, let's get on to the interview. Woohoo, all the way from Armenia. Welcome, Tigran.
Thank you very much, Zoe.
This is very exciting. I'm really curious about all aspects of your background and your business that you've ended up in. But let's start back at the beginning. You were something that I've never heard of before, which is you were into extragalactic astronomy. What is extragalactic astronomy? It sounds like Space Invaders to me.
Extragalactic astronomy is the branch of astronomy that deals with galactics, with all the stuff that is outside of galaxies. I mean, high scale. Not stars, not planets, but the rest.
Yeah, right. What was the most interesting thing you learned about galaxies when you were doing your PhD or when you worked in that field?
Oh, I learned that it's the models we have now, they are really explain quite well what happens millions of light years away. And that's really, really beautiful, the way the laws in nature work, that you can make predictions, you can make great models and see what's happening right now and millions of years ago.
That is fascinating. So you can look into the past. Can you look into the future as well?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, why not? That's really cool. You know, the works in the laws of nature work very specific way, and they are stable. They don't change.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So somehow you left intergalactic studies and you went into IT. What prompted that change?
Actually, when I studied physics at the university with 4 friends, and we were doing some site building and doing some development during that year. It was like byproduct work or kind of not full-time job. But during the years, my friends went deeper into it, and I joined them a little later. And I saw that it's really interesting as well. I mean, it's not a cutting edge science, but it can be cutting edge technology. And the same like researcher skills, the researcher mindset you can use in technology. Even in the fields of technology, like it's WordPress development, something that few people think about as being innovative. But we saw great potential here to add innovation to WordPress, something that millions of people do every day, and there is a need of innovation there as well.
Absolutely. And what caught my eye when I saw your profile was this emphasis on artificial intelligence and using WordPress. So how do those two things come together? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. We thought, what can we do to automate site building experience? We know like creating websites, it's easier now than, let's say, 20 years ago when people usually coded websites manually. But still, the complexity of websites is coming more and more, and we need the way to automate site building experience. So we thought, can we apply AI to generate websites? AI can generate, let's say, logos or whole articles, but why not? Why can't it generate websites? So we set such a goal that to research to see if there is a possibility to apply AI in this industry as well, and it was successful.
So how does it work from a user's point of view? So let's say I'm someone, I want to build a website and I'm looking at WordPress, I'm guessing, because this is your integration with WordPress as a platform for that. How do I take everything about my business or whatever I want to sell and plop it into this AI thing and out comes a website? How does it work?
Okay, it works quite simple. If you know some website, you look at its style and general appearance, you just copy paste its URL to the AI builder, and you can copy paste several pages, several URLs, and the system creates similar WordPress website to the original one. And what is nice, the resulting website, you can edit it easily with like drag and drop builder, and it's responsive for mobile devices, and it's fully customizable. The point here is that there are millions of websites in the world, and you can use their styles, their layouts as a basis for your own website.
Yeah, that's really cool. So let's say, is there a limit of how many website URLs you can put into the program?
It works for up to 10 page URLs. So it's quite okay for like a landing page and few other pages. It's more than enough.
Okay. All right. So you take these URLs, you put them into the magic box, and it somehow looks at themes, threads, and comes up with something completely new that's along the same feel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So from your, part-time experience as a student, you saw, there's a potential here, apply AI to the website. And did you start the company or did you join it, the company 10Web?
We started the company 10Web. Before that, we were doing plugin development for WordPress. So we already were working together. But what we were doing, it was completely different from what we have now. Right now, we have SaaS business, we have scalable business. But plugin development, it's still product company, but it's not as scalable as the platform for site building.
Yeah, right. Okay. So it's scalable. So you started with you and how many friends to start this company?
Our 4 co-founders.
4 co-founders. And how big is your company now?
Right now we have 74 people.
74 people. That's in how long? How long did it take to go from 4 to 74?
We grow, we used our previous company as a basis for new one. So when we founded 10Web at 2017, we were around 25 or 30 people there. But we grew to 74 in 4 years, less than 4 years.
Yeah, that's quadrupling, isn't it? Or tripling. 25 times 3 is 75. Tripling.
It's quite challenging.
I bet. So what was the hardest thing about that kind of rapid growth?
I would say it's inertia, kind of way of thinking, inertive way of thinking. If your company grows so fast, you need to adapt your processes, your management style, and your teams to this growth. You can't think the way as you are doing like your small business, it works and it's bootstrapped. No, you should really adapt fast and you should speed up all the processes and to avoid like bottlenecks, to avoid all this stuff that keeps you stopping, prevents you from growing fast.
Okay, so was that hard thing to do? Is to get over the inertia? How did you get over it?
It is quite hard thing, and first that company leadership should do that. I mean, to focus on the growth and delivering the valuable product really fast. What is good in our case, we have really great team of engineers. So although it's for them it's not easy as well, but having a good team helps you to ease that whole process. So first is management, and second is that I think transparency is second important factor. So that all the team knows where you are going, all the team communicates with each other about the priorities and focus. And in this way, you combine all people's efforts in one direction and avoid any distraction.
So how did you go about dealing with that? So transparency is, making sure everybody's on the same page. Are you guys a remote team, or are you all co-located?
We were co-located till COVID. Now we are partly co-located and partly remote team. But what is good that all these processes were almost complete before COVID, so it didn't make any problem for us. If you know what you should do, what information you should share with peers, and everything is set up, so making work remote doesn't harm in a serious manner. But it's good that we started earlier. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend, for example, starting remotely.
Why is that? Why would you not recommend it?
Because I think the basic agreement on the focus on the important things is good to have when you are offline, when you discuss in a very good, friendly, intimate conversation with your co-founders and with your team, what you are going to do. And after having that basic stuff, okay, then you can work remotely. And also the part about culture. I mean, it's good to know people really well and have a good culture established before going remote.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you found it hard to maintain the good culture through COVID, through being remote?
There were some challenges, I would say, like keeping communication as much as was before. Because when you are in a co-located office space, you go just, hello, Jim, how are you doing? And you can have 5 minutes to talk with Jim. But if you are working remotely, perhaps people maybe have tendency to pay less attention to informal stuff by like sending only, we worked with Slack internally, by sending only the necessary and like kind of more work-related stuff, but it undermines the communication, and it's good to over-communicate even rather than under-communicate.
So you miss out, if I'm hearing you correctly, you miss out on the informal comms where you just are having chit-chat and all that friendly stuff.
Right. And the informal part, emotional parts, like our culture is quite emotional. We are quite emotional people, and it's important. Otherwise, we'll become like robots when communicating remotely.
So it's a big process to build a company from scratch and to scale it as quickly as this. What have you learned about yourself as a leader through this?
Yeah, I learned that I need to scale up myself even in more intensive way. My role was changed from senior web developer to VP of engineering and now to CEO. So they're completely different type of roles. So first I should adapt faster than the company. Otherwise, how can I be a good leader if I don't adapt faster than the company itself? So it was really hard, and it's quite stressful because you need to figure out what you should delegate, what you should keep in the past, and what should focus on the long run. For example, like management skills, focus on that. Or now being a CEO, it's a completely new dimensions to my workload. Like talking to investors, talking to external stakeholders, to public. So yeah, it's quite challenging.
That is quite a different thing to doing, development, that's for sure. So you have to do a lot of conversational things. How has your definition of success changed from when you were first doing development to now as CEO?
Oh, it changed drastically. From developer's perspective, writing good software or writing good code, it's a kind of success. But I need to change my way of thinking about the success, not to focus too much on technical stuff. It's important, but it shouldn't be focus of CEO, it shouldn't be focus of manager. But the processes, the values of company, and high level points that you shouldn't go too much into details. For me, it was challenging in a sense that I first transformed myself from technical person to more business oriented person. Although I don't have any formal business education, I don't have MBA. Yeah, but it's needed. Otherwise, you'll be just be technical person, which will harm your business and your team.
So how do you go about learning those skills then? Like you knew that you had to develop and grow. How do you actually do it? Do you read books? Do you go to courses? Do you have mentors? What's your strategy for learning and growing?
All of that. Reading, having good co-founders. One of our co-founders is much more experienced than I am. So having good experience sharing is very important. Actually, I would say he's my mentor in some sense. Also, I would say, yeah, you should focus on the stuff that you consider important for the future perspective and to spend time reading, learning. We all do that.
Not everybody does, actually. You'd be surprised to hear. There's a lot of CEOs out there who don't make time to read, which is a terrible tragedy. So yeah, the smart ones make time and space for that. And the even smarter ones learn how to read quickly and effectively. On books, is there one particular book that's had a big impact on you?
I wouldn't mention any particular book, but there are things that are classics and one needs to read them to know them, like, for example, The Innovator's Dilemma or culture-related books like Netflix book, because this helps to avoid common mistakes and this helps to save time by don't going through the path that people went and they have experience. And it is good, especially for me that I'm not business person, so better to use concise experience and aggregated experience of the previous inventors, previous business people to accelerate this transformation process from, let's say, one role to another.
It's good to save time by learning from the mistakes of others, for sure. So what about your own mistakes? What mistakes have you made that you've learned from?
Yeah, it's not easy to admit mistakes. One mistake is that I was thinking about why it happens, and it's quite good for me. We were developing, a few years ago, we were developing a single product. We spent around more than a year, I would say, with a team of 5-6 engineers. We thought about that product from technical perspective really well. And it would be really great product, I'm sure. 100% I'm sure. But the overall, it was really failed. It even didn't reach till the release. Why? Because first, we didn't view this in a perspective of all the company, of all our resources. People were busy doing other important stuff as well. So we kept losing the focus first. The second, we didn't thought about the future. Okay, let's say you build great product, you release it, but are you able to support it and to develop it further, to enter into the market? We weren't able to do that. I mean, we were not ready to do that. Now it's what I think now. But so even if we were successful in building the product technically, we would fail later. But the lessons I learned is that it's not only about technical part. Even if you know 100% your solution is right, your solution is the best one, but one needs to consider other aspects as well, such as business impact, marketing, such as strategic focus of the company on the long run, etc.
Okay, so it's a big mistake is having a great idea and not thinking through the logistics and the impact of the whole system. Yes, I'm guilty of that. Lots of great ideas, and how are you going to pull them all off? I'm curious about people stuff. So I'm a leadership expert who specializes in people stuff. How do you go with the people dynamics? What do you find easy and what do you find hard?
By nature, I am introvert, and it's quite makes the stuff a little bit difficult. But I really like to talk with people, to commend them for the wins they do, to inspire them and to help them by my own example. Like when I was a developer, I did a lot of different type of tasks. For example, I did tasks which are not so interesting, not so creative, but sometimes I left and quite often I would say even, I left the most creative tasks to other engineers by doing the less pleasant part of the work myself. From the leader's perspective, I think the leader should help people to reveal their full potential and to create the environment in which the team flourishes in a way that they communicate with each other, they generate great ideas, they are free to work on these ideas, they feel them comfortable expressing their own opinion and keeping the staff transparent and keeping the direction, let's say, and the management logical. And don't take in all the stuff in your hand. For example, by not micromanaging people, but on the other hand, like serving them for them to do their great job.
Tigran, one of the things you said about your company is that it's a place where you can unleash a lot of innovation. And you sort of hinted at it in your last answer there. How do you go about doing that? How do you go about creating a place where people feel free to challenge ideas, feel free to share their opinion? What have you done that's enabled that to happen?
Perhaps I would mention one of the things that a manager or leader should create enough density of great people. I mean, it's not about hiring one person who will inspire others. No, it works as well. But the most important thing is that having at least few people who work really closely with each other, who are really tight, and they have a focus. And I also enjoy working in such an environment. And this is what I want all the companies to have. I mean, teams which are quite mobile, but having really great people together. No matter, it doesn't need to be too big team like 20 people, no, but just 4 or 5 people together with a clear goal set before them and some guidance, not much. They can do great work.
That's very sage advice. Nothing like a handful of people getting together, working on a solid project where they know what they're aiming to achieve and just let them work it out. That's awesome. I have a productivity question, Tigran. So in a startup that's scaling, how do you manage all of your time and activities? Because when you're growing like that, there's always more and more and more to do, and you always feel like you're running. So how do you manage your productivity?
Yeah, that's the hardest part. So first, I think managing productivity is managing stress, because you always have more to-dos than you can complete, and it's okay. It's natural state. It shouldn't be like emergency state. It's natural state. The point is to keep the most important stuff to do that, to delegate the rest, and on the other hand, always constantly to automate things. I mean, to introduce new people into the process, to automate the processes itself to keep them scalable. For example, as I already mentioned, there are 4 people co-founders, but when the company is 30 people, you can do a lot of things yourself. But when it's 70, when it's 100 or 200, you should help the company by creating like mid-level management layer so that these people do the most stuff so that you can focus on your job and help them to focus on their job. For personally, also, I first changed my way of thinking. I considered perhaps a few years ago meeting as a distraction. But now, I always try to think about meeting as a part of my job. Not it's not like meeting doesn't interfere with your job, with your work. So let's finish the meetings as soon as possible and do the rest stuff. So it's a way of thinking. I mean, the manager should be able to manage stress, should be able to manage priorities, and change his way of thinking by really thinking only about things that you should do and the rest to delegate.
I love it. You're one of the first people I've met who says actually meetings are good.
Yeah.
So, there's been a big trend to like get rid of meetings, where you're like, no, they have a point. There's a point to them. Just make them more useful. So what's next for you? Where do you intend to take your business?
We recently raised 2 million seed round from 2 Silicon Valley VCs, Sierra Ventures and AI Fund. So right now we are in a phase of establishing the foundation of growth and scaling up with the goal to increasing the number of customers. And we have several types of customers like B2B customers and B2C customers, like agencies, developers, personal individuals or SMBs. So our current goal is to quickly increase the number of agency type of customers. We think that the collaboration with web marketing and design agencies will be really beneficial for us as well. And we think about our product as having great potential for them to help to scale their business as well. But generally, our goal and our vision is to automate site development experience as much as possible with the technology and making it smooth, and even for the so complicated websites and complicated aspects of optimizations of development and management like we have now.
That makes a lot of sense. And I was just thinking about, web design and marketing in collaboration with your AI software. That makes a lot of sense. It fast track design, really, isn't it? There's a lot of conversations in other fields, too, about how artificial intelligence is going to affect the creative sphere. And I've been listening to lots of podcasts on AI and writing as an example. And there's 2 schools of thought. Those are like, our jobs are going because AI is going to write everything for us, which is not true. And then the other school of thought is AI will just help accentuate what we already do. So give you little tips and triggers and content. And I'm imagining that's the same for your AI-powered web design. So it'll be able to generate new ideas that you can build on, which adds to the creative process in a fast-track way.
Yes, exactly. This is our vision. We don't think about AI as replacing people, because what we do as people, it's really so complicated that it never we can replace it by AI. But AI should be a really helpful tool for us to focus on the most creative part while leaving the time-consuming on the routine stuff or the tasks and the work related to large data sets, to the algorithms, and focus ourselves on the most creative part.
I love it. That's a great message. Tigran, I'm going to be watching 10Web with great interest over the next coming years. Where can people find out more about you and your business?
People can find me at LinkedIn, Tigran Nazaryan, and they can visit our website and try the product as well and just chat. They can reach me easily even with chat.
Okay, Nazaryan, we have to spell out for people. It's Nazaryan. Tigran, Tigran. Tigran Nazaryan. But we'll put all the links in the show notes for you as well. Tigran, that was really fascinating. Thank you so much for making time and space to speak to me on the podcast.
Thank you very much as well. I really enjoyed this conversation.
What I took away from this interview with Tigran was a reminder of just how joyful it is to work in small teams on a project that you're passionate about, and just the energy that comes from bouncing off ideas with somebody else and having fun together and really creating something collaboratively. It really is a joy, and you can do it in person and remotely. But that coming together of minds to grow together, I think, is one of the best things we can do as leaders and as teammates. So refreshing. Well, if you enjoyed this interview, feel free to put a comment on our Facebook page. The link is in the show notes. Or send me an email, zoe@zoerouth.com. Or share it on your socials. That would also be awesome. Good karma points for you, and really helps us get the message out too about the podcast. Another thing you can do too is head on over to a free report available on my website at zoerouth.com. Click on resources, and you can get my special report called it's called, let me try that again. How to Spot and Manage Difficult Behaviors in the Workplace. It's full of juicy tidbits that will help you do your work better. In the meantime, live well, lead well.
You've been listening to the Zoe Routh Leadership Podcast with leadership expert Zoe Routh. For more about people stuff and to contact Zoe, go to zoerouth.com.